You know that feeling when you're surrounded by people but still feel completely alone? Like you're in a room full of noise, full of faces, full of conversations happening all around you, and yet something deep inside you is quietly starving? That's not in your head. That's not you being dramatic. That's one of the most common human experiences happening right now, at this exact moment, to millions of people across the world who all think they're the only one feeling it. And here's what nobody is talking about honestly. It's getting worse. The average person today has more ways to connect than any generation in human history. You have a device in your pocket that can reach anyone on the planet within seconds. You have platforms designed specifically to bring people together. You have more access to other humans than your grandparents could have ever imagined. And yet loneliness rates have more than doubled in the last 2 decades. Research from major institutions consistently shows that over 60% of adults in developed countries report feeling lonely on a regular basis. Think about that number for a second. More than half the people you pass on the street today are carrying that same quiet ache you feel. So if connection is supposedly easier than ever, why does it feel so impossibly hard? That question matters more than most people realize, and if you've been wondering the same thing, if you've been lying awake at night feeling disconnected even from the people closest to you, I want you to know something before we go any further. There is a reason this is happening to you, and it has nothing to do with you being broken, awkward, or unlovable. Nothing at all. But before we get into the real answers, I want to mention something quickly. Everything we're exploring today is actually the foundation of a program linked down in the video description below. People who have gone through it describe it as the thing they wish they had found years earlier. If you're the kind of person who is serious about changing how you connect with people, serious enough to actually do something about it rather than just watch videos about it, then that link is worth your time. Most people won't click it. They'll watch this, feel something, and then scroll on. But you're not most people, otherwise you wouldn't still be here right now. Now, let's go deep. Picture this. You're sitting at dinner with people you genuinely care about. The food is good, everyone is laughing. From the outside it looks perfect. But you're sitting there and you realize, with this slow creeping sadness, that nobody in this room actually knows what's really going on inside you. Not the real stuff. Not the fears you carry at 2 a.m. Not the dreams you've stopped telling people about because the last time you did, you got a polite nod and a subject change. You're performing a version of yourself, and the performance is so practiced by now that you sometimes forget there's another version underneath. That moment, that exact moment right there, that is the modern loneliness epidemic in its purest form. And here's where it gets even more painful. The more time passes, the harder it gets to break through. Because you've been safe for so long, you've been protected behind the performance, and the thought of actually letting someone see what's underneath feels terrifying, like standing in front of a crowd completely exposed, with no idea whether they'll accept what they see or walk away. So you stay surface level, you talk about work, about the weather, about whatever is happening in the news. You laugh at the right moments, you ask how people are doing, and they say fine and you say fine back, and somewhere inside both of you, there's this unspoken grief about how fine has become the wall that keeps everyone out. Now here's the pattern interrupt moment. This isn't just an emotional problem. This is costing you in ways you probably haven't fully counted. Studies on human health show that chronic loneliness has the same physical impact on your body as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. That's not a metaphor. That's what isolation does to your nervous system, your immune system, your cardiovascular health. People with strong social connections live an average of 7 years longer than those without them. 7 years. The cost of not solving this is not just emotional. It is literal years of your life. And professionally, people with deep, authentic relationships earn more, get promoted faster, build better businesses, and recover from setbacks more quickly. Not because of nepotism or networking in the shallow sense, but because humans are fundamentally wired to invest in, support, and open doors for people they genuinely trust and feel connected to. When you can't build real connection, you're operating with one hand tied behind your back in almost every area of your life. Let's talk about why this happened. Because understanding the cause is the first step toward changing anything. When you were very young, connection was effortless. You didn't think about it. You just ran up to another kid on the playground and said, "Do you want to play?" And that was it. No strategy, no worry about coming across wrong. Pure, unfiltered human impulse to be near other people. Then something happened. Slowly. Invisibly. The world started teaching you that vulnerability was dangerous. Maybe someone laughed when you shared something real. Maybe you trusted someone and they used it against you. Maybe you watched the adults around you keep everyone at arm's length, and you learned without anyone saying a single word that keeping yourself hidden was the smart play. By the time most people reach adulthood, they have spent years building walls so well designed that they've forgotten they built them. The walls just feel like personality now, like that's just who you are. Quiet, private, independent, and none of those things are bad. But when those walls are the reason you're lying awake at night feeling invisible, that's when they stop being protection and start being a prison. Here's another pattern interrupt. Technology didn't create this problem, but it made it dramatically worse in a way most people don't see clearly. Every time you open a social media app and see someone's highlight reel, your brain does a subconscious comparison. Their best moments against your internal reality, and you lose that comparison. Every single time. Because nobody posts their 2 a.m. crying. Nobody posts the fight they had. Nobody posts the quiet desperation. You're comparing your inside to everyone else's outside. And that comparison is slowly, quietly, relentlessly convincing you that everyone else has figured out the connection thing, and you're the only one still lost. That's a lie. But your nervous system doesn't know it's a lie. So it responds with anxiety, with withdrawal, with the urge to perform even harder, to seem more okay than you are. And the cycle deepens. Now let's talk about what changes when you break through this. Because this is where everything shifts. Imagine waking up and knowing, not hoping, not wishing, actually knowing that there are people in your life who see the real you and choose to stay. People who you can call at any hour not because you need something, but just because being heard by them makes the world feel less heavy. People who challenge you, who are honest with you, who celebrate you in a way that actually lands because it's coming from genuine understanding of who you are. That feeling is not a fantasy. That is what human beings are biologically designed to experience. That is what your nervous system is literally built for. And when you have it, everything else in your life changes. Your confidence shifts. Not the kind of confidence that's really just armor, but the kind that comes from knowing you are truly known and truly valued. Your anxiety quiets. Not because your problems disappear, but because you're not carrying them alone anymore. Your capacity to take risks expands because failure feels survivable when you have real people in your corner. People who have rebuilt genuine connection after years of surface-level relationships consistently describe it as the single most transformative thing they've ever done. More than any career achievement, more than any material success, because all of those things feel hollow without people to share them with who actually know you. Here's where the truth gets uncomfortable though. And this is the part most videos skip, because it's easier to make you feel good than to tell you what you actually need to hear. Connection does not just happen to you. You don't stumble into deep, authentic relationships by accident. You build them through specific skills, through the ability to be vulnerable at the right moments and in the right ways, through knowing how to listen at a level that makes people feel genuinely seen rather than just heard, through understanding how to create safety in conversations so that people naturally open up to you, through recognizing and breaking the patterns that have been keeping you in surface-level interactions for years without even realizing it. These are learnable skills, not personality traits you're born with or without. Skills, and the people in your life who seem effortlessly magnetic, who seem to make friends easily, who seem to have these deep, rich relationships everywhere they go, they're not special. They've just learned something you haven't learned yet. Yet. That word matters more than it might seem right now. Because here's what the research shows consistently. People who actively invest in learning how to connect, who treat it as something worth studying and practicing, rather than something that either magically happens or doesn't, those people transform their relationships within months, not years, months. The gap between where you are now and where you want to be is smaller than you've been told, but it requires a decision, not a vague intention. An actual decision to stop waiting for connection to find you and to go learn how to build it deliberately. Most people will read that and think, yes, I should do that someday. Someday is the most expensive word in the human vocabulary. Someday is where dreams go to quietly die while you stay comfortable and alone. If you're ready to actually do something about this, the program linked in the description below was built specifically for this. It takes everything we've talked about today and turns it into something you can actually apply immediately. The people who have used it don't talk about it like a course they took. They talk about it like a turning point. The moment before and the moment after. You've already spent enough time knowing what you want and not having it. The link is there. The decision is yours right now, in this moment. Because the version of you that has the deep connections, the real relationships, the life that actually feels full and seen and known, that version doesn't come from watching another video. It comes from the moment you decide today is the day.